Hey there, welcome to History Chats. Today is the 52nd program that we've done as a History Chats this year, 2023. It is the final one, right? We've done one every week, which has been, yeah, I guess we have. Um, it's been a long year of a lot of cool history that, I know I can speak for Gary and I, have been a joy to put together for you, and hopefully you've enjoyed tuning in if you have. This is a weird one to just jump in on if you've never seen any of our programming, but if you have, hey, welcome. History Chats is our program, has been around. We are now technically in our fourth year of doing it, which is crazy. Um, so far, let's see, I'm just pulling the numbers here. Just in 2023, we've had about 560 live viewers, and that doesn't necessarily take into account. Well, I guess this is the last one, so it's pretty close. Um, Almost 4,000 views over the course of this year on these programs alone. And actually, some of our most popular videos that people have been clicking on have been actually from previous years, which is pretty cool that people continue to go back and look at some of the old stuff as well. So yeah, thanks for watching. We have another year, probably, of programming upcoming here. Gary and I have been planning at least for January, and we'll get into that. Um, but yeah, I wanted to take the opportunity to look back again at what we've done. Of course, I'm only a component of this, and so I'm going to bring in here Sheryl Del Conte, who is our curator of events, and she's going to share some of the stuff that we've been putting on over the years. So here she is. So hey, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me, Ben.
All right, so I'm going to go events here. I will fix the graphic so it's not partially coming through. Um, Tell us about Holidays and Houses.
We had a wonderful time. We had over 350 guests come out to make Christmas memories, which was our theme this year. It sprang a personal note. My children, when they come home, what are the holiday traditions that they look forward to? We had cookie decorating, which was a fan favorite, not only to decorate but to eat. We had, of course, our Yawkey House Museum tour with some very talented reenactors, and the Central Stage Show Choir, which always does a wonderful job getting us into the festive holiday spirit. And something we added this year was gingerbread house making. We had a lot of our volunteers come in and create masterpieces to put on display. And of course, our annual gingerbread contest put on the Friends of Wausau Historic Landmarks, which always draws a crowd. So we had several houses, but there was a lot going on, model trains, and there was something for and Santa Claus. Of course, we had Santa Claus. So I think there was something for everybody this year to come out and do. So we hope everybody had a good time at that. Yeah. So, oh gosh, the ugly sweater contest. So I didn't come in first. Anna came in first with her reindeer vest, but I did come in second with my dog sweater. And so I, I think this was very funny, and we appreciate all the votes. So for our cemetery tour, we were out at Restlawn Memorial Park for the very first time. We usually had been out at Pine Grove, which is also a wonderful place, but at Restlawn, we had a lot of very interesting historical figures, and our tour guides were wonderful in taking people around. Kelly, one of our volunteers, is Shirley Palesh from the Professional Girls Baseball League. And James Bartamel was our wonderful Judge Patrick Stone. Jane Yonke always does a wonderful job, as well as our other reenactors. We even had family members that came out to see their ancestors reenacted. And I think everybody learned a lot and had a good time. So we're hoping to be out there again sometime. Vintage tea. Vintage springtime tea in March is one of my very favorite events. And this year's theme was fashion through the decades. So as you can see, we had a lot of different costumes that were out on display. Thank you to Linda Forbist and Anna Straub for putting a lot of that together. And Allison Cody, way to go, our very own Allison rocked an incredible business suit from the 80s. So everybody had a lot of fun eating yummy treats, and our models did a great job. It was a really fun event that day. Yes, so this coming March in 2024, we are celebrating our 25th, 25 years of having the vintage tea. And it has been a wonderful ride. I think everybody has had a good time, but 25 is the silver anniversary. So we've got some surprises for this one, and that will be coming up on March 28th, Thursday, March 28th. It is RSVP, and it sells out very quickly. So as soon as you see that up on our Facebook page, please make sure to get your tickets.
More information coming.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Vintage game night. This was the last event that we brought back post-COVID, and it has to be one of our most fun events. I am so glad that people have been receptive and have come back for vintage game night. In August and December, we had vintage video game night with the Wisconsin Computer Club, and we had a huge crowd. Over 60 people came out, all ages, in August. And of course, we have over 160 vintage board games and card games. And in 2024, we will be on the first Friday of every month. We are taking January off to go through our inventory, but we'll be back in February 2nd. So the first Friday of every month. So please come out and join us. It is a ton of fun. So our school groups, boy, we have a lot of school groups come in. And in August 18th, we had our Kids History Day, and we solved a puzzle. We went all throughout the community and our own exhibits, collecting large puzzle pieces. And at the end of the day, we were able to learn about Wausau history and put those puzzle pieces together. And this in 2024 in August, boy, do I have a treat. We are going to be junior history detectives. So if your kid would like to come out and see that history is a lot of fun, they should definitely do that. And thank you to all of our volunteers this year at City Hall with our mayor and Jean and the Marathon County Literacy Council for sharing their time with our kids that day. It was a lot of fun. So story time in the garden. Through May through September, we are out under the pergola in what I think is the most beautiful garden in Wausau. I'm a little partial, but we read a couple books out there, and then we go into the carriage house and we have a craft. And this is for our little ones, our youngest history buffs, our preschoolers, and we have beautiful weather, and we have a great time out in the garden. So, and yep, and then we have our arts and crafts inside, and Allison and Anna, and here we have Joel and Megan come out and help the kids do just a simple craft, but just something fun to take home with them. And yeah, similar. So My Dolly and Me is in June, and you can bring your favorite doll or stuffed animal out to the garden, and everybody gets to tell us who they brought with them. We even have some adults that bring their stuffies, And then Linda Forbes pulls out some of her favorite dolls and accessories from our collections department and talks about each one. And it's a very interesting presentation. And we have a lot of dolls, American Girl dolls, that are on display. But yeah, we had a craft, and we had some yummy cookies and lemonade. And Mother Nature didn't cooperate that day, but it didn't matter, it didn't dampen our spirits. We still had a lot of fun. Yes, we are at a lot of community events. We like to have a presence out there. Some of the ones we went to this year was the YMCA Healthy Kids Day. We were at Winterfest, and thank goodness we were inside. It was freezing. January 27th, we will be back out at Winterfest again at Washington Square. We're also at Children's Fest, which this year grew so big that we had to be in the Marathon Park ice rink instead of the junior building. We've outgrown that space, so the crowd was large there. And then we're also at a Harvest Fest, so you can come pick up one of the over 1,500 free pumpkins, but then swing by our tent, and we always have a take-home craft, fall related, and we had a lot of fun. There were a lot of people out at that event, and we had a good time. So, and we had quite the honor. Ben, maybe you could tell us a little bit about this.
Oh, sure. My microphone so you can hear me a little better. Yeah, so we had the pleasure of hosting. So this is Christian Oberland and his lovely wife who came up. Christian is basically the head of the State Historical Society of Wisconsin, and he came up because I should actually next here. Yeah, we won the Reuben Goldthwait Award for Local History, which is an award. We did a whole video on this if you want to know more. But yeah, this is this cup has been passed along to all of the historical societies in Wisconsin, local affiliates, which have been deemed the most outstanding for the year. And for this year, until 2024, through most of the year, we will be host to the award until we goes off to the next deserving candidate. But that was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of work to plan the event for that. That was not a public event, but it was a fun one. And
Great honor.
Great honor.
Great
Yeah.
honor. We had a good time celebrating this award, and we're very appreciative from the Wisconsin Historical Society that they recognize all the hard work that not only the staff but our amazing volunteers and board of directors do to get the word out about the Marathon County Historical Society. So just that, I'm hoping that a lot of people come out in 2024 to all of our different events. I think that we have something for all ages, so everybody can take a look and see what we have to offer on our website and Facebook and our YouTube channel. We have newsletter. We have a sign outside. Maybe a carrier pigeon. I don't know. But yes, find something that the Historical Society has to offer, especially our exhibits and the Yawkey House Museum tours. We have a lot to offer the communities.
Okay, so Sheryl had to run off. Unfortunately, being the holidays, we had a tight window here, and she couldn't stay for the whole program. But thanks so much for her for joining us and sharing some of the local history and the events, in particular, that she helped put together, and some of the stuff that we're going to be doing in the coming year. But I will just let's see here. Here we go. One of the things that Sheryl and I worked together to do is to run our History Speaks program. We've been doing this for the past 2 years. We're in the process of planning for the third one for next year. Actually, just before we started recording, we were talking about, that's what we were talking about. Just about getting one of the speakers kind of lined up that agreed. So we're not quite ready to announce that yet, but some cool stuff coming up and planned for History Speaks next year. History Speaks, for those of you who, I don't know how you could have gotten this far into the video if you didn't, you know, aren't familiar with it, but in the event that you are, yeah, History Speaks is our weekly or a monthly live stream. But yeah, History Speaks is our monthly lecture series. I think we did 10 of them this past year. So usually we'll take a month or two off, particularly around the holidays, the beginning of the year, when it's harder to get in to the building. But it is an in-person lecture that we do. We do also record them. So if you haven't gotten a chance to come see one in person, we do have them all recorded. This past year's are all up on YouTube in a convenient playlist that you can click if you'd like to see that. So this past year we did a whole mess of things. Well, I could go through some of them. Finally, we started the year with, after about 3 years of back and forth, we finally managed to get the staff from Wisconsin Valley Improvement Company to come and do a program, which was delightful to have them here and to share their very interesting history of their company, which might not be as obvious to most people, right? We also had a number of authors. We had Vern talking about his book, Stands Before His People, about a fairly important Native American fellow. That seems dismissive of his legacy. Watch it if you hadn't. It is very cool. We also had Scott Spoolman come and talk about some of the information and things that he had in his book, Wisconsin Waterways. We also had Shipwrecked and Rescued with Larry Jorgensen. All three of them great programs about very interesting moments in history or areas of Wisconsin, that are very interesting. We had a bunch of personal experiences. We had Gil Bittner talk about his experience flying missions in Vietnam, the Vietnam War. We also had Harry Konemoto talk about his personal connection and his family's experience as being interned as Japanese Americans during World War II. Another great program of personal significance to him that came through. We had a number of programs that were put on. People did research for this. Like I did a great. I think it's one of my favorite programs, which is the history of public transportation, sidewalks, trolleys, and motor buses. A lot of very cool stuff that came out through that. I know that, for example, John Harry from Stevens Point, Portage County Historical Society, but he talked about the connection between Stevens Point and Wausau and our shared history, which was very fun to have him up and do that. We also have Scott Norick come up and talk about, as an expert in doing research in the censuses, as the 1950s federal census came out, was released last year, the data. What can we say about Marathon County? So he did some very cool, insights that you can use doing that. And then, of course, we rounded out the year with Brett Barker, and Professor Barker talked about the history of the Gettysburg Address as we were acknowledging the 160th anniversary of that event and its legacy. All great programs, all all of them are well worth the watch if you haven't already. Speaking of which, not only do we have that, they also go back throughout, 2021, 2022, 2020. 2020, we had some 2020s in here. We also have on this playlist programs that predate that. We didn't do a great job of doing them every single year, but we did do quite a few of them. Recordings of History Speaks. We also have History Chats. We have a playlist that is just History Chats. There's a lot more of them. There's 166 of them, I think, which is crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of that too. So if you want to, some history, you can always go back, and I'm sure that there's some that you missed. And maybe there's some, or maybe rewatch. I don't know. If you want. It's always an opportunity. Anyway, it's been a very interesting year doing History Speaks and History Chats, and all of the public programming that we've been doing, from our, story time in the gardens to our cemetery tours and holiday tours, to the exhibit that we put up this year, Peek Inside, which was a really fun one to put together. That'll be up for a little while into 2024, but that'll be coming down midway through this year to make room for our next exhibit, which we are in the process of planning. the first stage of which will be going up into the second floor space. The parks exhibit, by the way, if you haven't gotten a chance to come see that yet, you have a very short amount of time before it starts to be coming down in early January, so come out for that. That's the history of the county park system. But yeah, we're going to be doing a new exhibit looking back a century into the 1920s and all of the great changes. I don't think we've made that explicit yet. We're still kind of workshopping the title. That'll be coming soon, hopefully. But that'll be coming up next year. And I know that some of the History Chats programming, Gary and I have talked about kind of looping in sort of the 1920s and some of the experiences from that too. So there might be more of a connection to some of the other things we do too. But yeah, lots of very cool things that we've done this past year. Thanks again to Sheryl for sharing some of her insights into and providing the pictures and all of that. A lot of cool things. We'll be doing a lot of the same stuff again this year with this upcoming year, maybe with some new twists and some new stuff thrown in there too. A lot of fun stuff coming to in the 2023, 2024. It's 2024. Oh boy, I hope I was saying that right at some point. Anyway, thanks for watching. All of that information about the upcoming events and our exhibits and programs, those will be always out on our social media, in our newsletters, in our... but if you can't become a member directly to get our physical Wannigan newsletter, we also have our e-newsletter, which goes out, and that's free to join if you'd like to find out about stuff that's coming up. Links to all of that, if I remember, are going to be in the description. You can check that out if you want. Become a member, join our e-newsletter, check out some old programs. Go check that out if you want. In the meantime, I think we'll call it a year here. Thanks again for a wonderful 2023, and we'll look forward to more history in 2024. In the meantime, happy holidays to you all, and yeah, we'll see you in the new year.